to Collaboration Conversations. I'm your host, Regina Partain Bergman, and I am delighted to have our co host with us today. Our guest co host today does so many things. As we visited recently, and she was sharing with me some of the things that she does, it is just amazing all that she's accomplishing. And so I don't want to steal her thunder. I want her to tell us who she is. Tell us a bit, Deborah, about your journey. Kind of, what's brought you to this place in your life, who you serve, and why. Would
Yeah,
you do that
Regina.
for us, Deborah?
Yeah, Regina, thank you for having us today. This is such a fun experience and new for us. And so we're just glad to be. It's always interesting to me when you bring a group of people together. And these are my dear people. I'm like, oh my goodness, I could talk about each one of them. But for me, it's an entrepreneurial journey, Regina, as I shared, and started out by trade being a teacher, and then decided that we had something we were passionate about. And when you're passionate about something, it's amazing the miles you can go, the people you can touch, the things you can create. And so I am presently in my fourth business. I started with an early childhood curriculum company for about 20 years, and then went into a promotional products company, a franchise, and now really coaching, speaking, training, and coaching solo entrepreneurs. And I absolutely love doing it. The why, I came from a business background with business partners that I adored and loved and held me accountable. We laughed together. We teased, we married, we buried together. We did life together. And when you move from that place to a solo entrepreneurship, man, the journey can get lonely on certain days. It can get hard on certain days. So now, in addition to being involved in the businesses, that's my first passion and what I absolutely love to do.
What a great starting place for talking about collaboration.
Mhm. Yeah,
Because you are obviously collaborating with all of those solo entrepreneurs that you're helping.
we are.
And we've all been in that spot of not having that network around us when we've gone off on a new direction. And we need those collaborations. We need people around us that we trust and that we can talk to, and we get an idea and it's like, yes, I've got to share this with somebody.
You do. You feel that way. I just want to share.
I just want to
Mhm.
share. I
Yeah.
need a sounding board. Who can I call?
So true.
Yeah, awesome. Deborah, so glad to have you here today. And again, thank you for inviting this wonderful panel. Would you please introduce each of our panelists and have them share a bit about their journey, who they serve, and why?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Alicia jumped on first this morning, and I absolutely adore Alicia because we're from the same state of Texas, and she likes to jump in. And that's sometimes what an entrepreneur has to do. You've got to say yes, yes to the opportunity, and then you get to figure the rest out by right behind it. And so I love Alicia. I love her transparency. And we came together through a mutual friend. And so, Alicia, go ahead, tell us what you do and why you do it, girlfriend.
Well, yes, being from the same side of Texas,
Mhm.
really just about 20 miles apart, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Although it's crazy, we always see each other on a screen. We've got to change that.
And we
We've
do
got
have
to
to
change
change
that.
it.
But anyway, my name is Alicia Munden, and Deborah, thank you so much for you and Regina putting this together and inviting me. So my journey started a little bit different. I was a hairdresser for 20 plus years. My husband says my math is not good on that. I say 25. He says like 24, whatever the situation is. I don't care. But my life radically changed about 5 years ago. But prior to that, talking about being an entrepreneur, I have been a humble entrepreneur where I just never really considered being a hairdresser as entrepreneurship. But indeed it was. Indeed, it was collaboration constantly all day long. Indeed, it was networking all day long in different areas. And so that business actually catapulted me a lot in several other businesses. I also have a little artsy hand. And so I love transformation of all kinds. I love to redo furniture. I love to remodel homes. I love to see a change for the better
Mm.
when you leave. And so, with all that being said, my life changed 5 years ago. I found myself in a very unhealthy spot. And so I am in the wellness industry now, and I really help my sweet spot is helping empty nesters beyond that, gain that good, healthy lifestyle, because I don't know if any of you are grandparents in here. I know that Debra is. I can tell you right now, we need a second set of energy whenever we get those babies, right? I mean, it's been 29 years since I stayed up all night with a baby. I knew when I had that little one on the second round of hold that it was going to be different and that I needed to show up a whole lot better because my family was growing. So that is what I do. I am in the health and wellness industry. I'm also a business coach. I have a fairly large team and we all have the same heartbeat. Of course, we are in different niches, speaking to different groups, but that is it. My why has changed over the 5 years. My first why was me. I had to get myself healthy. As a wife, a mama, a believer, I had to get myself in a spot. I lost 100 pounds. And then I have just transferred health to other people and hope in that you can be fun and fit at 40 plus.
There you go. Amen. You can. 40 plus. 50 plus. I'm not writing myself about 60 plus.
60 plus, 70 plus.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy. But Alicia, I love it. I love your journey. I love everything about you. And just looking at transformation from cutting hair to redoing furniture to now weight and businesses, there's something magical about transformation. I think that's why all of y'all are here with me today, because I've seen you do the thing in so many areas of your life. So next, Joy Farley. Now listen, again, Joy Farley and I have not hugged one another, but we're going to.
One day.
One day we are. And Joy Farley came into my life on Clubhouse in 2020. Mm-hmm. I was, as we all were doing, hanging out, thinking, what? And in a room, I don't even know what room it was, Joy, but I heard this girl named Joy Farley. And she was on fire and she was talking about video. And I'm like, man, I like her. Man, we can talk fast. We could exchange lots of ideas. And so then one thing led to another, is us reaching out to one another. And now we have just become, just besties on like Zoom, Alicia, just like us. But Joy, go ahead, talk to us about what you do and your why as well.
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you for the invite. I'm so happy that I was able to make it. Like, it's just crazy that I was able to actually make it this exact time. So I feel like it was definitely God's way of doing things, right?
Yeah.
But so nice to meet you, Regina and Alicia and Betty and Debra. Thanks for inviting me. So I am I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. I moved to Ohio with my family when I was 11 years old. I met my husband here when we were in high school together, and we are going to be going on 17 years of marriage in December. I was 20, he was 19. We were broke and in love, but we didn't care. We have 4 beautiful children together. He is a full-time YouTuber. Isn't it so cool? You can make an income from YouTube. That's what he does full time. And then I came from direct sales. So I was with a skincare and makeup company that was actually based in Dallas, Texas for about 10 years. I did really well there. I was one of the top earners. I earned trips. I earned cars. I did all the fun things. My original why was to be a stay-at-home mom with my then 6-month-old baby boy. Right. And so I went to college for like a little bit. I dropped out, I discovered direct sales. My mama used to be in direct sales for a long time as well. And so I was really familiar with it. But I did really well with that company. Unfortunately, they closed their doors 6 years ago. And I was left devastated. Has anyone ever had life curveballs happen to them? Right. So that was devastating. I literally felt that my identity was so wrapped up in that company that I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was the skincare and makeup live video queen. That's who everyone knew me as, right? And so at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And so with a lot of prayer and seeking, my husband and I decided to still find something that I could do from home. So I'm also in health and wellness, just like Alicia is. And it's kind of funny because everyone thought that I was going to go back into skincare and makeup, but I decided not to. I really kind of felt that I was burnt out. So I am in health and wellness. That is my full-time business where I lead an organization of lots of awesome people, but I'm also a live video coach. So I have that as my full-time income, and this is my side hustle. And I help mompreneurs really gain confidence, use live videos, and leverage it on social media and shine as who they are. So that's what I do.
Awesome.
And you do it. Oh my goodness. And how can you not shine when Joy's, I mean, when the smiles we have here are just absolutely amazing this morning. Oh, thank you for sharing, Joy. And again, it's always interested me. Now, Betty and now isn't this interesting? The lady from Uganda, I have hugged her neck. This is so weird. Yeah, I have. So Betty is one of my dearest John Maxwell team members. And we served together on the John Maxwell team. And we met just like we're meeting now on a meetup one day. And Betty's smile absolutely lit up the screen. And when people like Betty show up in your life, she took me to my knees because it's like the things that she has to do, the hurdles she has to get over to be able to come to Orlando, Florida, to be together in a room is unbelievable. And it really put me in my place for a moment because I thought, gosh, I was delayed 3 hours and I'm mad about it. Golly, And so just this last year, Betty was at the IMC. I was at the IMC, and like we hugged for so long there in that hallway, didn't we, Betty? So go ahead, sweetheart. I'm so glad you're here today. Tell us what you do and why you do it. And wait, Betty was working a full-time job when I first met her, and now, Betty, tell them you serve John Maxwell on the John Maxwell. Go ahead. I'm not going to steal your thunder.
Well, thank you so much, Debra. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Alicia, and Regina, and Mariana. Now, I am very excited to be here, and just like Joy, I never thought I would make it here on time. And yes, thanks to the spirit of against all odds, I am here with you beautiful ladies. Now, I am from Uganda. My name is Betty Ogiel Rubanga. Some people call me against all odds. My husband calls me Miracle Betty. And you choose what you will want to call me after today. I live in Uganda. I am a Ugandan. I am happily a Ugandan. And in the marketplace, I am a 20-year HR professional in a corporate, but that does not define me. What defines me is my purpose and calling, which is to inspire hope and transform lives. And that informs what I do now that I am outside corporate. I left corporate last year in May to just again find myself, get over myself, and reinvent myself, grow myself, improve myself, as John Maxwell says, our mentor, and give myself to other people. Now, what do? I serve those professionals who are stuck. I help them gain clarity on their next step. I help them turn obstacles into opportunities for growth for themselves and serving others. I also help people move from a career into calling. How? By integrating they are calling into their career, so that they live a fulfilled life. Now, I should have said this at the beginning, but let me say it as I end. I am a majestic speaker. I speak majestically, not by choice, but by circumstances beyond my control, which can be got from my book, Against All Odds. I got into a situation where I lost my speech completely, 16 years ago. But that is aside. I am now a bounce, not only a bounce back, but a bounce up and forward fast coach. Thank you.
Not only a bounce back, but a bounce up coach. I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness, Betty. Again, and isn't it interesting that of all the people I've hugged Betty in Uganda's neck, and that's a good one for me today. But anyway, all right. Last but not least, Clarissa, we are so glad you're here today. We're so glad you joined us. And Clarissa was a coach, or is one of my coaches. And we joined forces about a year and a half ago in another leadership program. And we have become very dear friends. It's always interesting to me how when I go into a room, I don't think about myself as being the oldest in the room always. And then I look up and they all start talking. I'm like, holy goobers, I'm the oldest one in this room. I'm old enough to be their mother, but they always treat me with such good. They're like, no, you're our big sister. We got it. So Clarissa's that way. And so Clarissa, we are talking this morning, introducing yourself, telling you a little bit about what you do, and then your purpose, why you do what you do.
This is a great question. Yeah. I'm Clarissa. I've been married to the love of my life for 5 years now. He is absolutely amazing. When COVID hit, we were actually working in Utah in the event industry. And this is like such a big part of our story. And I loved the events. We set up things for like multi-level marketing and a lot of tech companies. And then that industry was completely like wiped out overnight. So my husband and I worked at the same place. We're both laid off on the same day. And we were like, okay, what now? So we like took a huge pivot and started a cabinet shop. It has been thriving for 3 years now. We just moved into another space. We like tripled our space, got 9 employees, and I am also a massage therapist. And so it's been really fun to incorporate that into our employees and into the shop, because construction can be really hard on people's bodies and mentally. So I love taking that role of helping create processes to make it easier for our guys and help it not be so hard on their bodies. So I love being able to incorporate that part and work with my husband side by side and create this business that is giving us the time freedom that we've been looking for. We're not quite there yet, but we're making huge progress. But that's kind of where we're at. My purpose is to just really, I kind of have 2 purposes that I look at. I really like to share light with as many people as possible. And that kind of comes in the massage side of it. And then in the cabinet shop, I put a huge focus on families. I want my family to be really close and connected. And I want everybody in our shop to be close and connected with their families. I want to create a work environment that is not just dominating of their time, but that they can have the financial freedom and the time freedom that they can go and spend time with their families as well. And when we're in the cabinet business, we get to create a lot of kitchens. And so it's fun to sit down with people, because kitchens are such a gathering place. And for people to really imagine their families and their friends in that space where they can create that connection and that love. So that's what we do over here.
I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. Wow. Ladies, amazing, amazing. I love this. This just, learning all about you and getting to spend time with you, this just fuels my day. It fuels things, being a part of collaborating with you, of sharing your messages, being a part of the ripple effect that we're all creating. That is, being a part of the ripple effect just drives me. That's the most important thing. So let's let's talk about collaboration. And I can see collaboration throughout what you're all doing. Clarissa, I love the way that you've married the cabinet shop and the massage therapy. That's really uh, amazing and so smart to do what you're doing there. But share with me, ladies, and feel free to unmute and just join in the conversation. What's been the most rewarding collaboration that you've had, that you've been a part of? Something where you worked with someone or a group of people and the work you were doing really made a difference. You felt like you were making a difference. What's been one of the most rewarding collaborations that you've been a part of? Got you all thinking, huh?
Everybody's
Betty?
thinking.
Yes. The most rewarding collaborations that I have been part of, I just got out of it to join this meeting,
Oh,
is beyond success. We were together with another Maxwell leadership coach. We were training the new facilitators for Beyond Success, and it made me happy hearing how excited they are about moving from a life of success into a life of significance. Yes, success is about what you achieve for yourself. Significance is about what you help others achieve or what others achieve through you. So that is the latest collaboration. I just left her, continuing with the training to hop in this meeting.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that, life of significance. Deborah, what are you thinking about that?
Yeah. I mean, we just say that all day long. Success is one thing, but when you can be significant and leave a legacy, I mean, each of you. Yeah. Mine, just real short, was Frog Street Press, and really doing that and leaving the legacy with the children that we're learning to read. And it just goes on forever and ever. And I don't ever hear that song, somewhere along the way, or running to childcare that I don't know. Think, yeah, wow, that was powerful. And I was a part of it. Yeah, somebody else. Go ahead, Joy, you unmuted.
I did. Okay, so a couple of things come to mind. One, our church leads what's called MOV Sports Camp. So that stands for Mid Ohio Valley Sports Camp. And we just did it for the first time in like 4 years because of COVID. But it's a sports camp for kids that are seventh grade or kindergarten or first grade to seventh grade. And I always love being a part because I love kids. I've got my own kids, right? I've got my own 4 kids. But just coming together as a community, teaching these kids different sports, their soccer, football, basketball, cheerleading. I was a cheer coach. I was actually in cheerleading in high school as well. Does that surprise anybody? But yeah, so we had a great turnout. There was like 300 kids there, and it's a week long, right? So of course all the volunteers are extremely exhausted at the end of the week, but the impact that we're able to make in these kids' lives, like I keep seeing my little girls around town, and I'm like, I miss you. How are you doing? And they're like, I'm doing good. And just seeing, the updates and things like that. So that I love doing that. I love collaborating with my church and doing that kind of thing and making a difference. And another thing that we just recently did, Deborah was a part of this event. We did an event called Real Stories by Real Women, where we had 10 industry leaders in my company that all are from different walks of life. We did a Facebook group event where it was private. We all went live at the top of every hour from 9 to 5 o'clock on a Friday, where all we did was share our stories. So we had women from direct sales. We had women who were realtors. We had women who were from HR and corporate. We had hairstylists. We had all these different women from all walks of life who went live, shared our stories, shared why it's so important, to have a side income, to have that repeat business coming in. And it was amazing. And only 2 of us were from the same team. So all other 8 women from different organizations, and it was powerful. I mean, just being able to share stories. I know Deborah sent me a message right away saying, Joy, you were so amazing. Like, it was just a great event. So it was good.
That sounds awesome. Joy, have you gotten any feedback besides from Deborah? Have you gotten feedback from your listeners on the impact of that? And could you share what that was?
Yeah. So I had about 3 women message me saying, oh my gosh, Joy, that was such an amazing event. Cause like we had been planning it it was an idea that my business partner had for like the last 5 years. And I'm like, let's just do it already. Why do you keep saying, you know what I'm saying? Let's just do it. We don't know how it's going to go, but it was so well run that other leaders that were a part of it, like in their teams, were like, can we please be a part of the next one? And the whole idea is just for it to be a drip group. So if we meet a realtor, we'll be like, oh my gosh, you have to come listen to Deborah's story because, you know, she reminds me of you. So we can just tag them in the video and they can watch it. But for us, it's just like the sprinkling of the business side of things for people who are considering a business. It was amazing. It was good.
I would love to learn more about that myself.
Yeah, sounds good.
That sounds like an amazing way to bring people together and to share and to collaborate.
It was fun. Thank you.
It reminds me of John Maxwell talks about experience is good, but evaluated experience is the best teacher. And so that's what I hear you saying, Joy, that, I mean, hundreds were learning from that experience. And your ladies sharing that, you know, what they did and how they did it. And that's real life, you know. Yeah. I think today with social media, everything gets so sugar coated, you know, about how fast you can do it and how good you can look and how you can do it. And like, let's just be real here for a minute. I think that's what you did. It was real stories. Yeah.
Awesome.
Somebody else, a big collaboration you've been a part of.
Clarissa's unmuted. Clarissa.
Okay.
Oh, and Alicia has too. So
yeah,
let's Clarissa and then we'll go to Alicia.
So this is one that's in the works. And then this is like top of my mind right now, but I think it's such a cool connection is in the construction family, we are bringing in all different trades and we're going to Mexico in January to help with rebuilding some stuff in an orphanage. And they have a lot of child trafficking that's happening and people are coming and stealing a lot of the stuff that gets left. So we're working on building a wall and then helping build another set of dorm rooms for the girls. So because they have so many girls that they keep bringing in, but they don't have anywhere to put them. And so to be a part of this just feels like bigger than anything I've ever been a part of. And the collaboration to be with all these other contractors that we rub shoulders with day to day, to go and spend a week in Mexico with them, like really contributing just feels like I get really excited just thinking about it, but I think that will probably be the biggest and coolest collaboration that I get to be a part of so far.
That sounds amazing. It truly does. And as you're all speaking too, I'm thinking about people that I can introduce you to that would, you know, that for some potential further collaborations. And so already I've thought of somebody for Clarissa and for Betty, and I'll be thinking about for others as well here. Alicia, how about you?
Well, so my husband, we do have a little bit of a ministry background. And so with that being said, we've done a lot of collaborations on all sorts of things. He built a church in Belize and there's just so many things we've done. We also have partnered with the local, my husband is also a team roper. And so we have partnered with a local community college to collaborate with those kids to be able to have a relationship with those kids. We know that college is one of the most moldable times of a student's life. And so, you know, we are empty nesters. And so we just have the time and the energy to make a difference with those coaches and with those children and also their parents. Their parents are appreciative that we can show up on scene and a mom can give a good vibe and communication. But one of the most rewarding things I've ever been a part of that I still partake in is I had a client whenever I was doing hair, I had a client that owned a big physical therapy center for special needs. And she had a special needs son. And I don't have any hands-on experience in my home with special needs, but I have a lot of friends that do. And so it was very important for me to learn about how to be in their environment. That was important to me. Well, the collaboration, she asked me if I would be willing to come cut hair for her clients or her patients at her center because it was very hard for them to be in an environment like a salon. And so I learned more than I could ever learn with that experience. And so I'm still able to participate in that now, even though I don't have a license anymore. Okay, nobody cares.
It's okay.
But all that to say, that has been the most rewarding collaboration, not only with the patient, that they are comfortable in that situation, that they feel safe and they feel loved and they feel like they're a part of the group and all the. It's just the most rewarding thing, and they know me. I love that they know me, and so that just brings familiar face and love, and it's just been one of the most rewarding collaborations without words being spoken.
Yeah.
It fuels your tank, doesn't it?
Oh gosh, I get to do it today when I get done with this. I'm already just like, can't wait to get there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome. And your energy levels are just, they just get so high when you're doing that, when you're really helping others and working together to help others. And it's just, those are the times that, well, and people have heard me say this before, but when I have those kinds of opportunities, whether it's with my clients or others, that's when I get off the phone or off the Zoom call and I go find my husband wherever he is in the house and say, have I ever told you I love what I do? Nope, hun, never heard that. Deborah, how about you? What's one of those most rewarding collaborations for you?
I'm going to go back. At the very beginning, I shared mine that, we wrote a series of books. And when I left that after 20 years, Joy, I can just so relate. It was like cut off the arm would have been easier than losing. It was my identity. It was who I was. And I'll never forget one day that we were, again, just trying to make sense of life. And Tracy Wood was buying a big water tank thing on a back road here. And we drove up and two little girls jumped in the car with me. And again, there was a point in time where I wasn't sure what was next. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Everybody said, I'm sure everybody here, you've got a blank sheet of paper. You can do whatever you want to do. And you're like, really? But those little, they said that to me again, but two little girls jumped up into the truck bed with me. I had Gracie, the dog, and they started talking. And one of them was in kindergarten. And I said, oh my goodness. And so what did you learn today? And that little girl started singing one of the songs that I had helped write. And at that moment in time, I thought, Deborah, 20 years well spent when you can put things inside a child that's going to allow them to be successful. And again, Betty, I love that, be significant in what their journeys. And so that collaboration with those 3 kindergarten teachers who we never would have expected that to happen, but is probably still one of the biggest collaborations in my life.
Wow. That's amazing. What advice would you give to people who are maybe starting to dip their toes in the waters of collaboration, if you will, starting to become aware of it and to think about how they might collaborate to make a difference? What advice would you give them? Alicia?
I have one word, because I love what Joy said. Like, we've been talking about this for a little bit. Why aren't we just doing it? And so I think so many times we get so paralyzed in the overthinking that we are literally robbing everyone around us when we're not just taking action.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for everyone to know that just because you don't know everything, I believe in the power of the Spirit, and I believe it's just going to all come together. Now, do I think we should strive for excellence once we know better? Absolutely. But not overthinking the first step of just doing. If you've got this dream birthed in you to collaborate, and to me, if it brings good and it brings value and all the things that would fill someone or provide a need for someone or give you an opportunity to serve. I can't imagine it not being like, oh, that's not true. Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
No, I believe just actually taking the step, no matter what it looks like, and figuring it out along the way.
That concept of imperfect action is better than no action.
Absolutely.
Done over perfect.
Yeah. Joy?
I think what's really important is to surround yourself with people who do support your dreams. Nothing is more debilitating than when you share something with someone and they just crush your spirits. And so I know for me, I am high energy. So I have to surround myself with other high energy women like Debra. That's why we click so well.
Y'all.
We just, as iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah.
So having a supportive community around you, like I am known to be a visionary. Like I can see it. I think we all can, right? We see someone, we see the potential in someone, and they maybe share with us their dreams or their whys, their goals or whatever. And maybe they don't have a supportive family or a supportive husband or spouse or whatever. But I think like, for me, it's like, I want to be a dream giver and a life breather, right? Like I want to just breathe life into someone. And so if someone comes to me with an idea, I will do everything I can, or my goals or their goals to help them be able to reach those things. But I think the biggest piece is like just having a supportive community around you, being able to share those goals with each other and having someone who can be your biggest cheerleader, because that's what I do.
This whole group is kind of that way. We're all being like, if we had all day, it's like Regina, I'm like, we will not have trouble talking. But
I know we would have a blast, wouldn't we?
Oh yeah, Betty, were you not just hearing Paul Martinelli say jump and build your wings on the way down?
Yep.
I mean, that is, done over.
I live by that.
Yeah. Inner circle, share, Betty. What's your advice?
My advice would be think big picture. Yes. And let go of control. Collaboration is the one of the ways, one of the easiest ways of increasing your influence, your impact, and your income. The 3 I's.
Yes.
The 3 I's. So let go of control. I am a dominant character who comes as a calm, collected, but inside me is a lioness, and and I am I like having control. When you are collaborating, you have to be willing to let go of control and trust the other person. And I assume that you have assessed the values match of the person you are entering into a collaboration with. Yes. So yes, that is my advice. Thank you.
Brilliant.
So good. You now stepped on my toes, Betty. Let go of control. I'm going, oh, you're not talking to me, are you? Yeah. Clarissa's laughing. Clarissa, go ahead. What advice do you have? What a great question.
It's such a great question. The first thing that comes to my mind is building 10 out of 10 relationships with people around you, people that you trust and that trust you. Like, I value my relationship with Debra so much because I feel that effort being put back and forth. Like, I feel like I have that 10 out of 10 with her, and I strive to continue to create more 10 out of 10 relationships with people around me, because that's why I feel like everybody wins. Like, you're not just in it for what you get out of it, but you're truly invested because you want the other person to win as well. And I think that's when collaboration really is not just successful, but what did you guys say before? I hadn't heard it before and loved it. Significant.
Significance over success. I almost
Yes.
wore my Create Significant shirt today. Almost.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before, and I love that. But I feel like you really create significance and leave a lasting legacy with the people around you because you're so in it, not just for yourself and the other person too, but just like the people who get to benefit from the message and everything you share.
So good.
Very good.
Mm.
And yours, Deborah?
Transparency was mine. That kind of word that came to my mind first. Again, we're all in a life of what do we look like? How do we do it? Are we being perfect? And I suffer from, the perfection gap. John Maxwell talks about it, that I want it to be just so. I mean, I really let go of this morning, ladies, on when Regina, I knew I connected with Regina. She happened to come into my Facebook group, and I never schedule a time with somebody else, but I thought, well, what the heck, Regina? And I did. I knew we connected. But I mean, transparency on trusting and saying, let's just all work together for the good. And y'all have all said it in a myriad of different ways. You've all said it. But I mean, together we're stronger. I mean, it goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Number one, people need people. And together we are all stronger, locking arms together and moving. Yeah. Love it. So transparency, being real.
And for me, I think it also goes back to something most of you have said here as well. And that's that making sure that your values are the same, that that's so important in creating that trust and establishing trust and knowing that whatever you do, it's going to be okay. That outcome's going to be good because you do have those shared values, which allows for that trust.
Yeah.
So appreciate all that you've had to say, ladies. Excellent. As usual, we've come to the part of the show that I like the least, which is we have to stop this part of the conversation.
Oh, I know, it's good.
But I do get to hear now your final thoughts about collaboration. And Deborah, I want you to lead this round, if you will.
Okay.
So we'd like to know, what are your final thoughts about collaboration? And how can folks get in touch with you? And then please put your contact information in the comment section, and I'll make sure that everybody can see those contacts. Okay.
All right. Final thoughts. Go ahead. Alicia, you've started us off, so go ahead. Your final thoughts on collaboration. And thank you again for saying yes and coming with us this morning.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure. And just talking about collaboration, I always talk about how small the world really indeed is and how we can connect. And so I feel sure I will run across each one of you more than this right here. And I love that about collaboration. But I can say that it's a must, that we're created to be together. We truly are better together. And so it is imperative that we do collaboration. I think back in 2020 and how much how it was cut off. And then it seemed like in my community, we were so much more intentional about collaborating to still continue to create a community, a sense, and that we were created for. And then it seemed like it kind of diminished as soon as the things started going back to normal or whatever that looks like. And so, I want the same intentionality. Like, I want to be very intentional about collaboration across the board with everything that you can do and serve people in. That's where your intentional needs to be. So being intentional.
So good. So good. Intentional. And how can people get in touch with you?
Well, just about every way that you can imagine on social media. Instagram, Facebook is my main platform.
Okay.
I'm starting on TikTok, just trying to serve people over there. And then I'm brand new to LinkedIn. So and I'm just Alicia Munden. That's it. I'm just Alicia Munden.
I love it. Thank you so much. And Regina's going to make sure that if you're watching now today, that you get the contact information for everybody. So if you don't get it and don't get a name spelled correctly, Regina's got you. No worry about that. Joy Farley, tell me what's your final thoughts on collaboration, girlfriend?
Okay, so 2 things come to mind for me. Collaboration over competition. That's what I think. Okay. I feel like, especially amongst women, sometimes they feel like maybe someone's a competitor. And that might be the case, right? If you're in the same kind of industry or whatever. But for me, like, there is enough room at the top for everybody. Come on now. How many billions of people are in the world? And just like you guys were saying, like, when God created us to come together, to be in connection and community with one another. And honestly, like, there are things that I know that Regina and Alicia and Debra and Clarissa and Betty all do better than I do. Right. And so it's like when you come together, it's that collaborative effort where we can all use our unique gifts that God has instilled in us to better serve other people. Right. So that's one thing that comes to mind. Number 2 is don't be afraid to say yes. Like for me, like Deborah sent me a message. I didn't really know what she was talking about, but I said yes. Right. Like that's just what you do. Right. Like you just say yes to new opportunities because you never know who you can meet. Now I have 4 new friends that I wouldn't have had if it hadn't been for Deborah. Yeah. Right. So I am a yes girl for the most part, especially if it lines up with my values and who I'm trying to serve. So those are my 2 thoughts.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And how can people get in touch with you?
Okay, so I'm all over the place, just like Alicia said. But my main platform is going to be Instagram, and my username is Live Videos with Joy.
Okay. All right. And again, Regina's got you.
Thank you.
All right, I love that. I love that. And you, I think, jumped on later. Alicia, that was her first thing she said. She said, what have I got myself into? Could y'all just explain to me? So anyway, I love it. And thank you for saying yes, because I just, again, bringing a group of people from different places. Regina, I love what you're doing. All right, Miss Betty, all the way from Uganda. What's your final thoughts on collaboration?
Collaboration, as my mentor, Ray Popham, said recently, the world does not need more teachers. The world needs more examples. What we have done here is a demonstration of how collaboration works. So we have lived by example. I never knew 4 people in this room until today on the invitation of Debra. Now my network has expanded. Why? Because of collaboration. Collaboration is a way of sharing. Yes? Collaboration is a way of giving. Collaboration is a way of multiplying your influence, impact, and income. Thank you. And you can get me on LinkedIn, Betty Ogiel, then on Facebook, Betty Ogiel.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect. And I love me some Ray Popham. I love that guy. Oh my goodness. All right, good. Thank you, Betty. And you're so right. I mean, we increase our network, and we're increasing our net worth. You hear that all the time, but man, does that. My heart is so full today. So full. Clarissa, what about you? Final thoughts on collaboration?
There's like a quote that comes to my mind, and I don't remember it quite exactly, but it's, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And I've really seen that take place in my life, like in the cabinet shop. Once we started collaborating, like it really took off and we were able to impact a lot more people. So I think that's amazing. And it just creates a way more abundant life. Like it's so amazing to just have incredible people surrounding you. I love what Joy said, like being very specific about who you surround yourself with and people who believe in you and want to breathe life into you. And then you in turn can do the same. I just think it makes life way more meaningful and it makes it more fun. Yeah. Everybody likes to have fun friends around, right?
Of course we do. Absolutely. How can we find you, Clarissa?
Most active on Instagram. My main handle is just Clarissa. Pretty simple. Nobody else has a name like me, so blessed with that. And then if you want to check out any of the cabinetry stuff, it's just Jorgensen Cabinets on Instagram. And then we're both on Facebook too.
Okay,
Those are
good.
the
And
two main
again,
ones.
if you're listening in today, Regina's got us. Don't worry about getting everything written down. She'll get that to us. My final thoughts, Regina, on collaboration are, I mean, my cup is so full at the moment, and you can't pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you do not have. And in each one of us this morning, I've heard you say, I don't have it all, but together we can have it all. And I consider you each just dear friends that make my life richer and filling my cup this morning. So thank you for that. And it kind of reminds me, guys, of the shampoo commercial. If we tell one person and they tell one person. And so even today, for us here, with our cup being so full this morning, if we can just go out and give, just like you've said, think of the power we can have in the world. Think of the better we can make the place where we are. So anyway, Regina, thank you again for the opportunity to have us here today. It's just been fun.
It has been a joy.
Yeah.
Joy.
Most definitely.
Play on Joy's word, on Joy's name there, but it has been a joy having you all here. And as some of you said, our world expanded as we did this. We've each met somebody we didn't know, and now we have new connections, and those connections will introduce us to new connections, and it makes that world just smaller and smaller, doesn't it?
It's just like Lisa said.
Yeah. Smaller and smaller. And ladies, I had goosebumps as I listened to each of you on your final round. So thank you so much for being here, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your beautiful spirits, and keep doing the great work you're doing. It's exciting to see what you're doing and how you are each changing the world. Thank you so much. Thank you, Debra, for inviting everyone.
Thank you, Regina, for having us.
And folks, we'll see you next time on Collaboration Conversations. Bye for now.